Italian Football Podcast.
Why is your camera disappeared?
My camera's gone. We'll carry on. Don't worry.
We'll
carry on. I'll try and get this back. I don't know what's happened to me.
You did something.
No, I did nothing. I did nothing at all.
You most definitely did.
I didn't press a thing. I didn't press the thing. Maybe maybe England's FA or the UEFA are trying to censor me here.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
Right. Okay. Well, listen. We'll move on to Victor Osimhen. While I try and sort this out, you can tell me about Victor Osimhen's legacy. He's about to join Galatasaray for 75 million plus 10% sell-on fee. What is Osimhen's legacy at Napoli, and how will he be remembered at Napoli? Is he a Napoli legend? I'll answer that first, and then we'll come on to whether he's kind of thrown away his career. We'll come on to that after when I've hopefully got my camera back. So you take it away, and I'll try and sort out my camera.
I think Osimhen, Kvara, what they did at Napoli. Look, Napoli only have 4 Scudetti, and I think the idea, that season that they won, the way that they won it, as Spalletti famously said, we have a obligation to our history at Napoli to play in a certain way. We have an obligation to the Maradona, the Careca, and so on, to not that if we win, we do so in this specific way. The way that they won it and the way that they won it deservedly, with a big margin and playing some fantastic football, not just in the Serie A, but also in Europe. Lest we forget the hammering of Liverpool that we saw in the Champions League that season at the Maradona. And he was an integral part of that, Kvara, Min-Jae, and Victor Osimhen. So he will always be remembered as a hero at Napoli. He's written history at Napoli. Again, won 25% of all the Scudetti that Napoli have won. He's pretty much he's the symbol of that Scudetto. So he will always be remembered as a Napoli legend. And his legacy, however, it's a little bit more complicated. It's a little bit when we're talking about Simone Inzaghi's legacy at Inter, in the sense that it becomes a little bit more complicated and nuanced. Let's remember that Victor Osimhen spent, after having won the Scudetto, the following season, it was a complete deterioration and it was complete argument. I'm not saying all of that was his fault. A lot of that was De Laurentiis' fault. But the manner in which he leaves Arsenal, and also all the breakdowns, all the outbursts, all the anger, all the fighting, that the manner in which he leaves Napoli will leave a bad taste in everyone's mouth, from Napoli to Osimhen to everyone. But I do also know that, had he joined a Juve, that would have ruined his legacy, similar to Higuain's. But now he goes to Galatasaray, Napoli get fully reimbursed, everyone's happy. They can kind of leave, similarly to how Kvara left, on amicable terms. And I think that kind of saves his legacy a little bit. But of course, it would be wrong not to acknowledge the fact that this was a player who probably should have achieved more at Napoli, probably should have been a leading figure in winning last season's Scudetto as well. But instead he was just, he was sent away like a naughty schoolboy to Turkey for a year. And that'll leave a, all of that is kind of, it's a complex legacy. But I think when all is said and done, in 10 years, 15 years time, I think him and Kvara will be remembered very fondly in Naples, unless of course they go to a Juve at some point, which I think is highly unlikely for Kvara, given that he's a PSG, and I don't see Juve or any Italian team being able to buy Kvara unless it's on a free transfer. And the same applies to Osimhen. I mean, okay, he goes to Galatasaray. They've spent 75 million euros on him, but unless he goes to one of Napoli's a big no-no, I think he'll be remembered very fondly.
Well, they've got a 2-year, they've got a clause in the contract so that Galatasaray can't sell him to an Italian club for 2 years, at which point he'll be pushing on 29. So, yeah, I think that I think that's out of the question now, really. In terms of the Juventus or another club. I think that yes, it is a complex legacy, but I think, like you said, at the end of the day, whenever Napoli win the Scudetto, and it's very rare, they've only won 4 times in their history, and that Scudetto that Osimhen won was the first one they'd won since Maradona, 33 years, was it? So he of course he'll be remembered as a legend on the pitch. On the pitch, a legend. His goal scoring record's outstanding. More than one goal in 2 games on average. And
the season when they won the Scudetto, he was the MVP. Kvara was not the MVP. I know Kvara was given the MVP. He shouldn't have been. He should have been the under-21 player of the season. But the MVP should have been Osimhen. He was the best player of that season in the Serie A. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah, he scored 31 goals.
Yeah, he was the symbol of that Scudetto. And, they reached the quarterfinal of the Champions League, which is the best Napoli have ever done. So, again, that Liverpool game was just unbelievable. They dismantled Liverpool. So, they were a very good side, and he was the symbol, the flag bearer of that Napoli.
Yeah, agreed. Though, having said all that, we have to say, Victor Osimhen. First of all, before I ask the question, I've had this discussion with a lot of people. A lot of people have come to me and asked this question, especially with regards to the Premier League clubs. How the hell has Victor Osimhen not joined a major club, a major European club, why have no Premier League club actually, in all this time in the last 2 years, no Premier League club or, Barcelona, Madrid, PSG, none of them have actually come in with a concrete bid for Victor Osimhen, and it's something I just can't understand. I
understand it. I think it's got nothing to do with the football. I think we're talking about someone who has, due to his own actions, given himself a rumor of being difficult to work with. We remember when he joined Napoli during COVID, and this video of him throwing money at girls at a party in Nigeria getting COVID going viral. We remember that. We remember his constant hissy fits on social media, whether it was against the club, whether it was against Kvaratskelia's agent, whether it was these constant disturbances of him, of his rather. And Premier League clubs look at the price tag, they look at that, they look at some of the injury history, and they go, we're not going anywhere near that. We're not going anywhere near that. But the ability, I still think that in terms of tactically, football-wise, I think he's like the prototype of a Premier League footballer. He can really do everything. And he's aerially fantastic. Absolutely unbelievable. Yeah, he's very dynamic. His pressing is fantastic. He can score with both feet. He's a great link-up player. He's a good finisher. He's a high-intensity player. He has everything. But I think the arguing, the contract situation, the constant meltdowns, the disciplinary issues, and also to some extent maybe the injury history to a lesser extent, I think that just made people look at the price tag and go, now we're going elsewhere.
Possibly. The thing is that you speak to people that in training, he's very well, his professionalism.
Oh, there's no doubt
about that. He's very, very professional. He's a fantastic trainer. He works really hard. He keeps himself fit in training. He has high demands of himself. So I don't think there's any issue there. Whether it is, like you said, maybe when there's international breaks, when there's, I don't know, but it doesn't, even with everything you've said, and we don't know, I'm not sure we know we're close enough to the club to know exactly how much of an issue this is. Obviously, there has been some high profile, the contracts up, and a lot of that was Napoli's fault as well. So it goes both ways, doesn't it? I still don't, even with all that, I still find it difficult, because I look at like this is especially this summer, where basically every single Premier League club this summer has been in the market for a striker. Manchester United still looking for one. Arsenal are buying Gyökeres. Liverpool are buying Ekitike. Chelsea bought Delap, but they still probably need a top number 9. Okay, City have got Haaland, so they're all right. So all of the top clubs, apart from City, are looking for a top striker. They've all got the money to buy Osimhen, yet none of them have even come close. Yeah. So no one it's never really been they've never even really considered it, to be honest. Now, if I look at who they bought, for me, Osimhen is certainly, there's no doubt about it, Osimhen is more proven than Gyökeres and Ekitike. Proven. He's done it in the Serie A, which is a better league than the Bundesliga, and it's a better league, certainly a better league than the Portuguese league. He's done it in Europe. He's done it consistently over more seasons than these players. He's younger. He's a bit younger than slightly younger than Gyökeres. And he's cheaper than both as well. Like Osimhen is 75. Okay, the salary is higher, and I understand. So that's something. The salary is high. But I mean, Ekitike's scoring record is really not very good, and he's gone for 95 million. So for me, like that's what I don't understand. I don't understand it.
Look, from a footballing wise, like I said, I think footballing wise, no, I don't get it. But I think there are other factors, and I think all of these things, this off the pitch stuff, I think people look at the price tag, 70, 80, 90 million. You're not willing, with how corporate the Premier League is, and you don't want that headache.
What about, is he throwing away his career? Because we're talking about, really, on paper, one of the top three,
I'm surprised.
Top five strikers of today, of the last few years.
I'm surprised.
He's going to spend all of his peak years in Turkey?
I'm surprised that PSG didn't go in for him, because I think someone like with Luis Enrique as well, like the kind of striker that he likes to have, I think he would have been ideal for Osimhen, for PSG, but they didn't want to do that. Again, I think it's got to do with other things, unfortunately, because the football ability non si discute. It's not up for discussion. It's there. It's fantastic. But I think it's the reputation that he's gotten, and it's unfair, you could say, but it is what it is, and it's a shame, because I really think that he could have been. I really think that when it comes to, I mean, right now, if you look at strikers in the world, I think technically he's one of the best. I mean, if you look at number 9s, Lautaro's a fantastic technical striker. Thuram's has great technique. Osimhen's got great technique. But other than that, there's not really any natural number 9s with fantastic technical ability. I think Osimhen is one of the best, if not the best, when it comes to like number 9s with fantastic technical ability, and also the fact that he can do all these things that we mentioned. But it's a shame. I really do think it's a shame. I really do.
Yeah, I do as well, because it's going to be sad. With all due respect to Napoli, my family's from Naples. I love Napoli, and of course, it's still a really big club. But when you look back on you're going to look back on Osimhen's career, and what you're going to see: list of clubs: Lille, Napoli, Galatasaray. I mean, yeah, it does feel like a waste. It feels like he's not played at the level that he
could have played at.
He should have played at. But anyway, I'm sure a lot of the Galatasaray and Turkish fans are going to be upset at us for saying that.